Good morning. My name is Sunil Kanchi, and I am exceptionally happy to be here at the 13th edition of the Cocoon Conference. It is my privilege to be a speaker at this conference for my third term and wish everybody a very safe and healthy world looking forward. I understand this is a very new environment for us, and I was personally looking forward to meeting with many of you in person in Cochin, but here we are in the COVID-19 world and trying to move on with life as best as we can. So I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I am seeing in this COVID-19 and the post-COVID-19 world. And for that, I would like to take you through a small presentation. So again, I wanted to talk to you about some of the shifts that are happening in the cybersecurity world during COVID-19 and what I foresee is going to happen in post-COVID. I represent USC Global. As many of you might know, USC Global is one of our top IT services and IT technology companies, and based right here in Kerala, in Trivandrum, in Cochin, and we have offices in 25 different countries. Our corporate headquarters is in Aliso Viejo in Southern California. USC Global is a technology partner dedicated to transforming businesses, communities, and the people who live within these communities. We operate in 25 countries. We were established in 1999. And like I said before, our headquarters is in Orange County in Southern California. We have 25,000 employees that are spread across 25 different countries and servicing 140 odd customers, which are Fortune 1000 and Fortune 500 and Global 1000 customers. Our philosophy has been to serve and transform the lives of 3 billion people in this world using technology. We believe in commitment beyond contract, providing more attention to select customers while having a philosophy that's centered around humanity, humility, and integrity. We are primarily in 5 verticals: healthcare, retail, banking and financial services, manufacturing and distribution, technology, media and telecom, and semiconductors. Again, my name is Sunil Kanchi. I'm the Chief Information Officer and the Chief Investment Officer for USD Global. As Chief Information Officer, I'm responsible for all of IT, communications, the digital transformation, and security for all our internal systems. I'm also, as a Chief Investment Officer, I'm responsible for mergers, acquisitions, corporate venture capital fund, our global partnership and alliances, and a startup ecosystem which spans across almost 400 different startups across the globe. I graduated with a bachelor's degree in engineering from our College of Engineering in Trivandrum. I have a master's from the US, and also a master's in or MBA from the Kellogg School of Management at Northwestern University. I have about 20 plus years of experience in the business world. As a CIO, when COVID hit us in February, March of 2020, we all jumped into action to try and understand what was really happening and how do we continue the work that our employees needed to perform for our customers. So the first thing that happened was to try and get everybody online, making sure our employees, our partners, our customers are all sharing information online. The way we work had dramatically changed from working primarily from within our offices to working from anywhere. Some work from home, some have shifted to working from along with their extended families, but we all have to live and work in a very different world today. Employees are now working from multiple devices. They used to work in a very secure environment inside the office, and now they're working in an environment that is going to be in a relatively unsecure home network. So it comes with it significant challenges, data protection, cybersecurity, and all of them. We also had to shift to working more on the cloud. You couldn't really access all the systems that were on-prem, so we had to move a significant number of them, or accelerate that movement to the cloud, and provide access to systems that were protected inside the four walls of our offices into the cloud, or making them accessible from anywhere. Technology, which was an enabler, now becomes the mainstay of a business environment. The way we work had dramatically changed. The way we live has also significantly changed. Think of every aspect of our lives. Every aspect has significantly changed. But what did we do as CIOs? Literally overnight, literally over a weekend, we started to enable the entire workforce to be able to work from anywhere. WFH, working from home, or WFA, working from anywhere, became a mainstay word in the business jargon. Quickly instituted measures to maintain business continuity. And these are things that we do as in a business world. We are ready, but nobody is ever ready for something like this. This was like World War III in a completely different paradigm. We wanted to provide remote access to systems over private networks that have increased or very increased strained loads. And we're constantly monitoring the spiking of these workloads, and also to maintain and ensure the threat levels are mitigated and protected against new cybersecurity threats that have evolved or that have sprung up over the last 2 quarters. The new world and this continuing risk had significant changes, right? What is the new normal? The new normal was everybody started to work from home. 54% increase in spike, not just on how we worked, but there was a 54% increase in spike in home cooking, 22% spike in home improvement, because people are spending more and more time at home, so they needed to make their home environment a lot better. Think about e-commerce. Our shopping online grew in the last 3 months by a growth that was has surpassed the 10 years of growth, and it's literally an entire decade of growth was seen over the last 3 months. Everybody started working from home, so there was a rise in remote working, but there was also a rise in unemployment. Think about tools like Zoom. The Zoom user base grew from 10 million people to 200 million people just in the span of 2 months. Slack and Teams and all these other global communication tools and collaboration tools saw some significant spikes. Look at the learning our kids are going through, both in school and colleges, have mostly gone to online classes. Travel and mobility has significantly been disrupted. Entertainment industry has been disrupted. Health and well-being has taken a completely new tangent. They've taken a path of e-pharmacy and e-medicine. Most people would want to go and meet with a doctor before, or go and pick up their medicine from a pharmacy. And today, most of it is online because you're also scared of going into a hospital and contracting COVID. So a lot of these industries are significantly changing on how our lives have been completely disrupted. So what does this mean, right? It also means that there are bad characters, these cybersecurity criminals that have used this opportunity to attack where we are at our weakest points. The businesses are better prepared, but as individuals, as human beings who have now started to look into an online world, not everybody is as prepared to face these cyber criminals. Since the pandemic and the subsequent lockdown, the number of phishing attacks have significantly increased. Cyber criminals are taking advantage of this Look at this data that came from Trend Micro. The single top location for spam and malware was obviously the United States and the more wealthy economies. There was a 220% increase in spam from Feb to March of 2020, just in that 1 month. There was a 260% increase in malicious URL just in the month of March. Over 1 million spam messages related to COVID-19 were detected. 737 malware were detected related to COVID. All of these threats make our lives very, very challenging. Just in the month of March, look at the week-on-week spike in themes of COVID-19 themed phishing attacks. It went from almost 0 to cross 5 million attacks. Look at the themed phishing attacks, the spear attacking. The spear phishing attacks crossed a very, very high alarming rates as well. With all these concerns or challenges that are faced from the cybersecurity or cyber criminal world, we needed to look at what are those competing priorities in this COVID-19 world and what comes after in this post-COVID-19 world. The bimodal operations from a business perspective needed to be balanced. We needed to make sure our regular working is continuing, but also at the same time, we've got to look at opportunities of the future. How is the entire world changing? What is this new business model? What is this new world throwing to us? And how are we going to face it from a business perspective? What business models need to be innovated? And we also need to continue to evolve or innovate our business to continue and leapfrog our competition as well. So from a CIO's perspective, making sure that the employees and customers and their data is safe and secure. We are able to enable our employees to work from anywhere in a safe environment. Technology becomes an extremely important part of the business world, even for non-technological businesses. We are privileged that many of us, or most of us, are working in the technology world, and that we have that ability to work from anywhere. But not everybody does. Think about the street food vendors, to the cleaning staff, to the travel industry, the hospitality industry. Many of them wouldn't survive. We also need to come up with new KPIs to align with the new business model, rethink strategies that we need to offer to accommodate in the new security landscape. Continue to monitor our needs and our customers' needs and provide the support, the services, and the training to be ready for this new world. So most of our cybersecurity spending, you might see, has increased because given everything that was happening, our budgets from a CIO perspective were already allocated. They were already fixed coming into 2020. But coming into Q2, we are now hit with one of the world's worst pandemics. And we are going to be looking at how are we going to manage those budgets, where we have to increase our spending on cybersecurity because it's an extremely important part of it. We've got to increase our spending to make sure we are able to enable our workforce to work from anywhere. With all these constraints, we needed to look at what are those key focus areas that we need to spend. So first was to stabilize our core systems and operations, critical infrastructure, making sure the systems are available online and available from outside of the four walls of the offices. Making improvements to the processes so we can continue to make it simpler and enable our workforce to work in an easier and a more efficient manner. Inside the offices, you're protected because you have good bandwidth. We can't guarantee that bandwidth when employees are working from home. Even in economies like the US, where I'm based, we had significant bandwidth constraints because all of a sudden you had hundreds of millions of people coming and working from home. Students sitting at home and using Netflix and Amazon Prime and YouTube, and that increases the bandwidth requirements at home as well. We are fighting against the kids' usage of the bandwidth for their entertainment. But at the same time, we had to make sure that our applications can work over low bandwidth as well. In economies where there are more bandwidth constraints, those challenges become even more accentuated. With all of these constraints and then the cyber risk and the cybersecurity issues that the cyber criminals are having with us, we have more challenges. How do we prioritize the spending? If I looked at my top 5 spending, 4 of those suddenly became cybersecurity related. And the first was obviously to enable our employees to work remotely. We wanted to increase the perimeter security. We wanted to increase the identity and access controls. We increase the security not just for ourselves, but also for our third-party partners. And we needed to train our employees to make sure they're able to work in a new environment, and the new environment that needed to make sure that they are thinking more about safety and security of themselves and their data. So 4 out of my top 5 priorities was in making sure that we have a safe environment for our customers. We're also constantly looking at what next, staying focused on our employees and our customers, thinking about their new needs in this new world, making sure that we as CIOs are able to provide the technological leadership that our businesses require us to provide. We're looking at understanding the implications of the new normal. We're looking at cutting costs because money is now becoming a challenge. Our budgets are going to be tightened because of the COVID impact. Businesses have suffered, and we're trying to figure out how to work with a more constrained budget. But at the same time, we want to stay on the course for the key priorities that we've already defined for the year and the new priorities or the modified priorities because of the new normal. We see that there is a new normal for the cybersecurity providers as well. The product refreshes could be happening, but could be less. They could be at a lower frequency. Delivering services will be more challenging. We have significant new constraints where people are not as mobile as before. It needed to be on the cloud, remote, online. We are looking at replatforming our solutions that we've offered. What was on-prem now needs to be on the cloud. Applications that we were previously providing on-prem needed to be available for our employees to work remotely. But at the same time, this is also an exciting time for the cybersecurity industry. As cybersecurity professionals, I'm sure you're seeing a significant growth in opportunities and demand for your skills. From this market, what we understand, I know there are dark clouds, but there is a silver lining, and that silver lining is primarily for the cybersecurity professionals, both the bad actors as well as the good ones. We need to make sure that we are able to provide a safe and secure environment and make sure we train all our employees to be able to work in a safe and secure environment. I wish you all the best. And with all these challenges, I'm sure that we will all excel and life will continue. And life will excel. And we will continue to be great at this new world. And we will overcome these challenges and continue to excel. Thank you very much. Appreciate the time. And I'll be available for any questions. Please feel free to reach out to me. Again, this is Sunil Kanchi from USG Global. Thank you very much.